welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two reviews, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Taha.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
That's right, folks.
Yeah.
It is Throat Punch Thursday, where we are taking it to the political left, giving them a bit of a throat chop.
Yeah, that should go prove it to you right there. Jeans always beat Ranger panties every time.
Jeans always beat Ranger panties.
Yep.
Oh, you know, you kill me every time you say that.
You know, there's Ranger panty guys and then there's jean guys, and that's what you get. That's the difference. Yeah. So.
And how are we doing this fine afternoon/evening, my friend?
You're not too shabby / okay. Yeah.
Not too slabby / okay. Well, I'm going to have quite a busy evening.
Yeah.
I've got several community / political events that I've got to attend this evening. Thus, normally I have my white shirt on and I've got my sport coat over there. I just figured it'd be a little bit much to be wearing a sports coat during the show.
You got the hood to go with the white shirt? You got the
I do not have the hood. No, I do not.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, just checking.
I do not partake of such attire.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
I am not from.
I get it, Craig. Wait.
I just don't do that.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, you don't know anything about that, Mike. You know nothing about that.
Nope. Listen, the only clan I know is at the Scottish Highland Games. So
There you go. Exactly. I mean, heck, some of your best friends are colored.
no, they are right. There's a couple of them that say I get a couple of them that they say they're half. I've not figured out which half, but they say half. So
Well, I'm sure y'all will figure that out one day over some refreshments.
there you go. Fifth of Scotch. That's right.
Oh, good scotch. Definitely good scotch.
Yep.
Definitely good scotch.
Yes.
Anyway, well, tons of good stuff to talk about today, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to start off, though, with a quick shout-out to our sponsors.
Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. If you need yourself an AR barrel, this is the place you got to go. They got AR barrels in rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, fire, EMS, get your group together, get your agency together. Place yourself an order over at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. These are the folks that help us, well, come to you. They bring us to you. So they hope that we'll bring you to them. So do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. We make it real simple for you. All you got to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, spend some money. Tell them the guys over at The Rundown sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you're watching this show live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're taking your comments. So go ahead and comment. Let us know what's up. Let us know what you think. We will share your thoughts with the audience if we find them to be interesting. Doesn't matter whether we agree with them or not, although I do say this. We do reserve the right, if we disagree, we do reserve the right to mock you.
Oh, yeah. Like on this plane and the next one. So you're going to get mocked. Yeah.
This plane and the next. But we also, though, do commit to the fact that it will be entertaining, which is pretty much why we do it.
To us, yeah. So
to us.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that really matters, Mike?
No,
No,
absolutely
not
right.
really.
No,
That's kind of why we do the show.
no, no. Yep.
Oh, okay. You know, a lot of our show, quite frankly, and I get this, and I know we talk about it's quote unquote news, but a lot of it is pointing out the obvious because when we say things are going to happen if you do a certain thing, uh, because a lot of it is obvious. It's not real obvious to the left, but it's real obvious to us. And one of the things that is pretty obvious is that when you remove people who are part of a murderous, violent gang who has entered the country illegally, have taken over apartment complexes, and developed a gang stronghold on a particular state. When you get rid of those people, you're going to notice a change in the murder rate and crime in the state in which you have removed them from. And that is exactly what has happened in the state of Colorado, which is being reported by our friends over at Breitbart. Colorado murder rate dives after ICE deports Tren de Aragua gangbangers. It says here new data shows that homicides in Denver and Aurora, Colorado have experienced a significant drop in the wake of immigration and customs enforcement efforts to take down the Tren de Aragua gang members that had been causing so much chaos in the area. But local Americans are still being killed by President Joe Biden's migrants, including a 24-year-old woman killed in July of 2024 in Aurora by a 15-year-old reckless illegal immigrant driver. The local prosecutor just offered a sweetheart probation and community service deal to the youth migrant who is now applying for humanitarian asylum. The numbers have taken a significant downward turn in the first quarter of 2025, according to data from the Major Cities Chiefs Association, KSUA-TV reported. Homicides in Denver declined 58% during the first 3 months over the same time last year, and nearby Aurora saw a 36% decline during the same period. Once again, this is kind of like saying, Mike, if you go running through sprinklers, if you run through running sprinklers, you're gonna come out wet on the other side. Is that news?
Yeah, crazy, right? Crazy, right? Let me see if I get this straight, Craig. We got rid of all the murderers and the homiciders, and the homicide and the murder rate went down. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. There's no data to support that. That's a lie. Clearly, what's happened is that Trump's a Nazi.
Clearly, and you know what also correlates with that, Mike, is that when you just let when you let murderers and rapists from other countries just walk into your country, rapes, murders, and burglaries go up.
Again, I don't know if there's data to support that. That just shows me that Trump's taking gifts from Saudi Arabia.
Clearly, it's the result of a solid gold plane being given to him by the Crown Prince
clearly,
of Qatar.
Clearly, they're Nazis together. They're both Jew killers. That's why the murder rate's gone down.
Could there possibly be any other explanation?
No other reason. Nothing at all.
It is amazing to me how I get people who say, and I know you hear this argument the same as well. Well, people in America commit crimes at higher rates than these immigrants. Number one, I do not believe that the data supports that. But even if it did, let me give you a statistic that we know 100%. It's a statistic I've quoted 1,000,000 times on this program. 100% of the crimes committed by illegal immigrants would not have been committed if we were actually enforcing our borders and they were not allowed in.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. This is just, it's no coincidence, folks. It's supported by data. It's supported by facts. You take away the people that do the violent crimes and the violent crime rate goes down. And it's just not hard to figure out, right? And yet the left will find a way to blame this on, Trump's relationship with the the Saudi crown prince. It's going to happen. Right. They're going to find the correlation there.
What-
This is just proof that, again, his policies work. And it's not like he came up with these policies, the first president ever to say, let's try controlling immigration at the border and not letting murderers in. Just we've had to overcome the idiocy of the last administration. So he's just restoring. Again, he's not talking about making a new America. He's making America great again.
By doing things that worked. I mean,
That's right.
Let me give you an example. And we've seen this cycle happen in terms of crime. In the late 80s, early 90s, crime and murder and whatnot was through the roof. So we had, honest, and to be real with you, Republicans and Democrats alike said, enough is enough. We're going to crack down on crime. That included Joe Biden. That included Bill Clinton. The crime bill was passed with the support of Republicans and Democrats. In places like California, we saw institution of things like Megan's Law and 3 strikes. And at that point, you saw a 20-year in a row decline in crime, right? Crime steadily went down. And then right around the 2010s, right around, the Obama era, right around when Kamala Harris became the Attorney General here in California, we started to see this smart on crime philosophy, which basically was, we're going to stop enforcing crime. We're going to decriminalize crime and let the criminals back out on the street. So in the 90s going forward, the 90s and early 2000s, we were locking up criminals and crime went down. In the 2010s, we started decriminalizing crime and letting criminals out, and crime went up. I mean, Mike, this isn't real hard. This is not real hard to figure out, right? If you lock up the people who are committing crimes, crime goes down. If you let them out,
it's not rocket surgery, right, Craig? It's not rocket surgery.
No, it's not. You do not have to be Elon Musk to figure it out.
No. I will say when we started getting rid of crime, that was called the Giuliani effect. He was the one that started in New York City when the city was so bad you could go to Times Square. You know how he got rid of murder and rape and robbery? He got rid of by getting rid of criminal mischief, vandalism, and vagrancy. Because when you get rid of these small crimes and people start to take pride in their communities again, then the big crimes go away because people let the bad people know. Good people let the bad people know this is not the place you're doing that. So and then that was adopted nationwide. By getting rid of these small nuisance crimes, the larger crimes disappeared as well. Now, you also have to back that up with, we're going to put them in jail and use real standards and real discipline. But that's how he did it. And then Hillary came along and said, well, let's get rid of it. She's the one with the original finger when she decided she wanted to be president. She's the one that came along and said, let's decriminalize crime. She's the first one given credit for it.
Well, yes, she was one of the first ones. In California, it was Kamala Harris when she was Attorney General. The whole concept of quote unquote smart on crime. All I know is this, is that and it seems to be a cycle, because we had the same thing happened. We were tough on crime in the 50s. We got loose in the 60s. 70s came around, people lost their minds, and we cracked down. And all of a sudden, it just seems like a 20-year cycle. And if we would just wake up to the reality that there's a certain percentage of society who is going to do bad things. And if you lock them up, if you let them know that you are not going to tolerate them doing bad things, there's a huge percentage of them who are going to say, okay.
Yeah.
And not do bad things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
Once again, ain't too tough to figure out. It's not too tough to figure out.
Nope.
All right. Now, I know you saw this next one regarding Planned Parenthood, and I wanted you to know that this is not an issue. This is not something that happened during the Trump administration, but this is something that happened during the Biden administration, in particular the last 2 years. Now, keep in mind, I need you to understand that this is following a trend where the number of abortions had actually been going down. But thanks to the Biden administration, we now see that the number of abortions have actually started to go higher. According to Breitbart, Planned Parenthood 2022 2023-24 annual report reveals record abortions and taxpayer funding. Planned Parenthood released its 2023-2024 annual report over Mother's Day weekend. How like ironic is that? They released it over Mother's Day weekend, the number one killer of babies. Anyway, revealing record abortions and taxpayer funding. The report called A Force for Hope states that 402,230 unborn babies were killed in abortions, up from 392,715 the previous year. At the same time, the organization received $792.2 million in taxpayer funding, up from $100 million the previous year. The report's release comes as congressional Republicans are weighing defunding Planned Parenthood and other abortion organizations through budget reconciliation. Defunding abortion providers through reconciliation process would allow the Senate to bypass the critical 60-vote threshold for a simple majority vote, instead capitalizing on Republicans' overall trifecta. Now, Mike, the one thing that I don't think that they take into account in terms of this reporting is that Planned Parenthood is one of the number one nonprofit providers of sexual, I'll call it sexual transition or sexual trait modification medication to minors. That's the other thing that Planned Parenthood is very, very become known for. So in other words, not only are they interested in killing babies, but if they happen to be born, they're gonna change their gender.
They listen. They're just they got all the hits going on there. They got everything going on. It's Planned Parenthood. I mean, Craig, you explain to me, because you're part of that culture. How is it that the African Americans in America say that we want our rights, we want to be equal, which I think we've done a pretty good job at. Yet you continue to let Planned Parenthood convince you that murdering your children is an acceptable thing.
Well, Mike, it's not. And it's funny. There used to be a time when Black women were the least likely to get an abortion. But keep in mind,
right,
Planned Parenthood has invested a lot of time, energy, effort, and money to reach urban communities. 88% of their clinics are in the hood. They used to have a project called the Negro Project, where they specifically recruited Black pastors to go out and say how it's not that bad, and to go out and talk about it as women's health care, not killing babies. It is a systematic effort, and it's been a government-funded systematic effort. And this is despite the fact that the Hyde Amendment made it so government dollars are not supposed to go to fund abortions, but what they're doing is they're using the money to fund other things that, oh, by the way, for organizations whose number one source of income happen to be abortions. Otherwise, and by the way, if it wasn't, then why is it that so many of these clinics in states that have put high restrictions on abortions have said, we can't continue to exist, we're going to have to shut down because we can't afford to operate if we can't do abortions? Well, that's because all that money they're getting, once again, comes from abortions.
Right. Just amazes me. I know we did the math on it at one point. If abortion became illegal and the African American community stopped doing abortions, the population rate, I think it was 2 generations, would go for something like the current 13% to almost 40-50%. Of people with African. Yeah.
Planned Parenthood has accomplished what the Klan wished they could have done.
Oh yeah.
There's a reason why there was an organization. I forget what the name of the organization was, but they actually had a website and they put it out there. They called them Planned Parenthood.
Oh, wow. How punny.
It's bad. It is really, really bad. And when you consider the founding, when you consider who Margaret Sanger was, the fact that she was a known racist who believed in eugenics, which basically was the controlling the populations of undesirable people. Can you guess who was included among undesirable people?
Oh, Hillary was a supporter of hers. I do
Yes,
know
Hillary
that.
was a
But
big supporter of Margaret
yeah,
Sanger's. So
yeah,
that ought to tell you something. Anyway,
yeah,
look, all I got to say about all of this is their day is coming. Planned Parenthood's
yeah,
day is coming. And when they get defunded by the government, all those people who are contributing money, you're just going to have to kick in more. So at least the government won't be funding the genocide that is being perpetuated by Planned Parenthood.
yeah. It'll end at that point. It'll end.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Yep.
All right. There are those that are in leadership, those who understand history and understand who are trying to send a message to President Trump, or at least to his advisors, because for some reason his advisors are, when they're talking about cutting a deal with Iran, because supposedly they're very close to cutting a deal with Iran. Uh, the concern is they want to make sure that part of that deal isn't allowing for continued enrichment. Basically pointing out how that was a failed policy of Barack Obama when it came to that. I mean, that's basically the heart of the Iran deal. Well, that plus we give them access to billions of dollars that they can then use to fund terrorism all over the world. But President Trump isn't considering that. In any case, this is a piece over at the Washington Free Beacon that says, continued enrichment, fatal flaw of Obama-Iran deal. Senate Republicans remind Trump. 52 GOP senators told the president that the party is uniting on completely eliminating Iran's ability to enrich uranium. 52 Senate Republicans on Wednesday reminded President Donald Trump why he withdrew from the 2015 Iran nuclear deal in the first place, as the administration negotiates with Tehran on another potential agreement. The group of GOP senators, led by Pete Ricketts, Republican from Nebraska, wrote in a letter that the president was correct in his 2017 assessment of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, specifically in that it did not completely end Iran's uranium enrichment program. The message to Trump comes days after the fourth round of talks between American and Iranian representatives and the new agreement between the two countries. Quote, during your first term, you withdrew the United States from the deeply broken Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action and imposed maximum pressure on the regime, Ricketts and his colleagues wrote. As you said then, the fatal flaw of the deal was that it allowed Iran to continue enriching uranium and, over time, reach the brink of nuclear breakout. The senators continued writing that the Trump administration has correctly drawn a red line against any deal that allows Iran to retain any enrichment capability, and mentioning that the White House in February identified even non-military nuclear programs as an existential danger to the United States. Now, once again, I know this sounds weird. Why would they send this? Because the president's already taken this position once before his first term. And they're telling him this because there are those who are advising him that, okay, we might be able to get a deal. And for the sake of getting a deal, allow them to do it so that they can have it for energy. Now, mind you, they are literally the most oil-rich country in the world. They don't need nuclear energy. They don't need nuclear energy to be able to be self-sufficient. But I just wanted to get folks to understand this is more of a message to President Trump's advisors than it is a message to President Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, and he gets this right. He knows enrichment's off the table. They're not going to do this. And Craig, you make the ultimate point here that how is one of the most oil-rich countries in the world? They have to have nuclear energy. They need to need nuclear energy because they have no other source of it. No. But hey, Craig, listen. You and I, we come from the same place, same background. They're not making any DeLorean time machines either with this nuclear enrichment. Okay, this is for no good things. So you can enrich all you want, but then we can bomb all we want as well.
Right. And, one of the things that's pointed out is it doesn't take long. I mean, so let's say you make it so that it's energy grade. It doesn't take much more effort to make it weapons grade. And let's just be honest. Iran, they're liars. They've lied. Lord knows how many times they've lied about their nuclear program. They've lied about their missile program. They're not to be trusted. So, no, you do not allow them to have it. And if they decide that they don't want to do it, look, you got Republican, you even got a Democrat, at least one Democrat, Mr. Fetterman, who's like, man, just bomb their nuclear program out of existence.
Yeah. Yeah, that Fetterman, he's turned out to be a perfectly sane, always counting on the same answers every time, right?
Well, not if you listen to Democrats. It's hilarious because now all of a sudden now that he's agreeing with Republicans on anything, now that he's like, you know what, Trump's the president, I at least got to meet with him. Now that he's sounding reasonable and rational, they're all like, I think he's gone cuckoo en la cabeza. I think there's something wrong with him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, now that he agrees with a lot of the right policies, the Democrats admit he has brain damage. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we all know that liberalism is a mental disorder.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of it being a mental disorder, here's an interesting one. The View. Sunny, I think her name is Hodgson. She's one of the hosts on The View, and she decided to come out, and she basically is making this argument. Her argument is this. She is saying that the U.S. is misogynistic country because female presidential candidates keep losing. In fact, I'll let you listen to her make her argument yourself.
Stop telling the American public what they're ready for.
No,
and we've elected a black man before.
We lost twice when women ran.
Yeah.
I mean,
but is there no distinguishing factors to each woman and why they might have lost? Is there no nuance?
Hillary Clinton was one of the most qualified candidates in presidential.
She carried a lot of Clinton baggage, but she was polarized.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sorry because
she was a failed game show host.
Yes.
Okay?
I loved her. I voted for her. But the number one thing I heard from people that didn't like her was there was this mystery around the Clinton baggage they took. I just don't trust her.
They weaponized her husband against Hillary Clinton. And
they did all those things.
This country is a misogynistic country, and this country is a country that out of all of the first world countries hasn't been able to elect a female president.
So
That's just factual.
Okay, listen. Sexism, racism absolutely exists. It absolutely is a factor in elections. It is not the determinative factor in the 2024 election. And I disagreed strongly with President Biden when he basically blamed that on why Kamala Harris lost. She outperformed Joe Biden when he was in the race. The numbers went up. The fundraising went up. She had a short window to run. And I think all the data that we have when you see why she lost the battleground states, it is not because a bunch of racist Democrats didn't turn out for her. That's not why.
So I think it's real simple, Mike, and it's not real hard to figure out. Hillary Clinton, and this by every poll imaginable, Hillary Clinton, let me clarify. Donald Trump, when he ran the first time, was the most unpopular or disliked presidential candidate in polling history except for Hillary Clinton. Nobody liked her. Nobody liked her. Her attitude was, it's my turn. I'm the one that's supposed to be here. I'm the one supposed to be president. Y'all stole it from me when y'all let that black man, Barack Obama, that smooth slickster, steal it from me. Well, now it's my turn. And that was her attitude. And on top of that, you had everything else that was going into it. The fact that, she was basically telling, and this was the worst part about what she did. She told middle-class white men who in particular, blue-collar union workers, that everything that was wrong with this country was their fault because they were white men. And they said, no, I'm not down with that. And then you had Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris came along. There's two issues. Number one, she's dumb as a box of rocks. That was number one. Number two, she ran on a set of policies that had already been failing America for the previous 4 years. She did nothing to divorce herself from those policies. She embraced them. So what are you going to do? I mean, those are the existential. This is a woman who was so unpopular when she ran 4 years before, she didn't even make it to the first primary.
Listen, she's not a liked woman. She's not. And listen, it's not just her personality; it's what she did politically as well, right? She bought a Senate seat, right? She lived in Arkansas, was a resident of Arkansas, then was a resident of DC when she was the first lady, and then they bought a home in New York. And the next day, she ran for office. Most states, Craig, I don't know how it is in California. Most states, you have to have residency for many years before you can become a federal level politician for them. You can't just show up one day and say, "Hey, I got a New York driver's license today. I'm running for office." Well, that's what she did there, and she used that position to be the last. Right. Here's my last resume bullet to run for office. I am looking, Craig, though, and I'm seeing now that the View is now blaming Donald Trump also for Geraldine Ferraro not being elected vice president in 1984. It looks like they're blaming him for that as well.
Well, just to be frank with you, yeah, that might have had something to do with the fact that Ronald Reagan was president. I'm just saying.
49-1 that election. Mondale Ferraro, they lost that election 49 states to 1 in 1984.
Yeah, just look, Democrats. Here's the deal. Let me just be honest with you. Number one, it's not your messaging. It's your message. It's literally the fact that you are pushing a message that nobody wants to hear because you're just wrong. You're wrong on everything. That's number one. Get a hold of the idea that you are wrong, that your policies suck, right? They're just bad. And we know they suck because we've seen them in action. We gave you full reign in the country, and you blew it. We've seen them in action in California, and people are fleeing from California like in droves. So it's a bad idea. Don't do it. Stop it. Those of you, Mike, there was a poll that came out just recently, and it shows that who the number one candidate is right now, the leading candidate for president right now in the Democratic Party is AOC. 26 points. And then Bernie has 12 points, 12%. So together, and that he's not running again. So you could literally have AOC starting her campaign with like well over 30% support of the Democratic Party. This is a person who is a Marxist. She is a Marxist. Not only that, she's a dumb as a stump Marxist.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Craig, if you read the second half of the story,
your party,
by the way,
Democrats. And I know Democrats who are better than that.
Yeah. If you read the second half of the story, by the way, because Trump is a misogynist, that's why the murder rates are down in Colorado. So,
because Trump is a misogynist.
Yes. It has nothing to do with his deportation policy. It's because he's a misogynist.
Well, then maybe we need to elect more misogynists. If murder rates are going to go down.
If we keep running people like Kamala and Hillary, well, I guess we're going to have more misogynists.
I guess we are. And I got no problem. What's funny is that Republicans have no problem with female Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard.
Look at the entire Trump administration and look at the number of females in prominent position in there and tell me the man's
exactly. Oh yeah, he hates women. Let's see, his press secretary, who, in my opinion, is slowly but surely earning the reputation as one of the, if not the best, press secretaries in my lifetime.
Yeah. Could you imagine her as Rubio's running mate? The two of them would
say I don't know because I once again I've never seen her actually govern. What I like about what I see, for example, from Sarah Huckabee Sanders is now we're seeing her implementing policy now, and we're seeing how she's leading when she's leading according to what she believes. And she's by the way, phenomenal governor there in Arkansas. Would be a phenomenal presidential candidate one day.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a deep bench, bro. We got a deep bench.
That's what I'm saying. And the bench all includes power punchers.
Yes.
It's go up, it's into the ring and throw nothing but bombs the whole time. Just power bombs every punch.
Well, and not even just scoring points. Let's say you don't even need a knockout. By the end of the fight, the score is going to be totally because they're throwing jabs, they're throwing uppercuts, they're landing combinations in all parts of the body.
At will. Yeah. Yeah. Just hurt bombs and connecting at will. Yeah.
Now, it doesn't hurt that Democrats are like, their hands are like down by their side and they're leading with their chin.
No, they're like this. They're doing this right now.
They're like this.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. Democrats, look.
They're bad sparring partners at this point, is what they are.
I'm telling you, man, I know some reasonable Democrats. I know some guys and gals who would be, if they governed at the federal, if they governed the way that they actually are, I mean, they would really give Republicans a challenge. But at that point, we would see a difference in policies that instead of the wacky way out left versus, the reasonable right, you would see the reasonable left versus the reasonable right. And I think in that, then we can actually talk about and debate policy because, I'm not saying I agree with them, but at least I know that they can argue policy, they can argue facts, they can argue numbers. But those aren't the people that the Democratic Party wants.
No.
Anyway,
absolutely not.
Good luck to y'all. No, actually,
Yeah.
Bad luck to y'all. Keep going with folks like AOC. I'm rooting for you.
Yep. As the Chinese say, Ratsa Ruck.
Ratsa rock.
Ratsa Ruck.
All right, folks. So that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your Hog holster today. Today, they're all going to be brought to us by our friends over at the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. Our first one here, Democrats propose building a wall to keep out white immigrants, specifically South Africans.
Yeah, amazing, right? Oh boy. Yep.
It's like all you had to do to get Democrats to be in support of tougher immigration laws is just make the immigrants white.
Make them Elon Musk.
Okay, here's another one. This is once again in the wake of Jake Tapper's book. Furious Democrats demand to know who was responsible for covering up Biden's decline.
Yeah. Greg, I was at the barber shop today, and the entire conversation the whole time was Jake Tapper's book. What an idiot! I didn't know. What an idiot this guy.
Yeah, dude was he knew. I mean, put it to you this way, Mike. You and I have actually no contacts within in the Biden White House, and we knew.
Yes. Yeah.
All you had to do was watch him.
Yeah.
By the way, getting back to South Africa. South Africa denounces white refugees for leaving before they had a chance to take all their stuff and kill them.
How dare they?
How dare they? And then finally, eyeing 2028 presidential bid, Gavin Newsom distances himself from Gavin Newsom.
I know that's Babylon Bee, but it's what he's doing. He's
Mike, it is what he is doing. So he's pushing a bill right now that will basically undo or remove a lot of the environmental regulations for urban developments to build housing. And this is something that, by the way, Democrats have been pushing. The idea that we have to have all this stuff, the things that adds the significant costs to education. It suspends the power of the Coastal Commission, once again, to build multifamily housing. And I'm like, but y'all aren't going to admit that y'all the ones who put this stuff there in the first place.
I guarantee you, you'll hear him making this statement soon. When people start confronting him on this, hey, why have your policies changed now that you're trying to be president? Why have your policies changed? He's going to say, because Democrat policies for California are not necessarily the policies we need for a successful America. He's going to come up with something like that.
Oh, dude, he's slick. I'm just going to tell you right now, dude is slick. So yeah, I can totally see him doing something like that. In any case, folks, that brings us around to the end of the program. But before we go, we got one last thing to do, and that is give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Let's see here. I'm going to see, make sure I got my sound right. There we go. All right. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Make sure you get on over there. Get yourself your AR barrels. They got rifle calibers, pistol calibers, whatever you may need for your next AR project. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in tactical gear, field gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, get on over to uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Once again, please take a moment, visit our sponsors by following the links in the description of this program. Let them know that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. And with that, we come to the end of our program. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Free for All Friday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, have a good time, and we will see you mañana. Peace out.